Divers found an old camera on the ocean floor, but they froze when they saw what was inside. On May 13, 2014, a team of student divers from a Canadian university went underwater to study sea life. They were near Vancouver Island, expecting to look at starfish, but they found something else instead. While exploring the ocean floor, one of the divers spotted a strange square object buried in the sand. It had a leather strap and a round lens. As he pulled it out, he realized it was a rusty old camera. They put it in a bag and kept diving. Back on the boat, everyone was curious. The camera looked like it had been underwater for years. One professor, Siobhan Gray, took it to her lab. It was covered in algae and even had small sea creatures living inside. But the biggest surprise was the memory card. Even though the camera was ruined, the card looked fine. Carefully, they put it into a computer, and to their shock, it worked, but what they saw in the photos terrified them. When the team opened the memory card, they thought they would see family photos or diving pictures. But what they found was strange. There were photos from inside a lab. Tables were full of papers, test tubes, and sea creatures in glass jars. One photo showed a map. A red circle was drawn around a small island. Another photo showed people in white coats, but their faces were blurry. Everyone went quiet. This was not what they had expected. They looked at the map and searched for the island using satellite images. It was real. It was far from the coast, with cliffs and rough waves around it. The lab in the photos looked like it matched some buildings on the island. The team and their professors decided to go there. The boat ride was long and hard. When they reached the island, everything was quiet. The old lab building was still there. It was rusty and covered in vines. They went inside. The place smelled like salt and something rotten. The floor was covered in broken glass. Old machines and desks were covered in dust. They found one locked door and forced it open. Inside, they found sea creatures kept in jars, drawings of machines and notes pinned to the walls. One paper said, "Subject 7, adaptation complete." Another note said, "Relocate samples before shutdown." Everyone stood still. This place had been used for secret science work. They didn't know what kind of experiments were done here, but it was clear something strange had happened. The team took pictures of everything. They knew no one would believe them without proof. After returning to shore, they called the police and explained what they had seen. 2 days later, the team returned to the island with police officers. But when they got there, everything was gone. The building had vanished. There were no walls, no roof, just trees and grass. It was as if nothing had ever been there. The police found nothing. No glass, no jars, no papers. It was all gone. The place was